have Russia finally answering to Venezuela's calls for missiles and drones to be able to strike America. Yeah, Venezuela asked Russia for weapons to be able to strike the United States directly. They want to be able to hit assets in the United States if a crisis grows. A senior Russian lawmaker said that Moscow is ready to supply advanced Resnik ballistic and cruise missiles to Venezuela. This would obviously be an escalation because Venezuela would be using nuclear-capable weapons on America. And I'm not making this up, as multiple sources saying Russia is signaling that they can arm Venezuela with the new Resnik and Caliber missiles. We also have China stepping in saying that they defend sovereign ties with Venezuela and warns the United States against moves in the Caribbean. This is coming after Venezuela asked China for military assistance, so China is saying that they respect their sovereign ties with Venezuela, and cooperation between Venezuela and them are not directed at any third party, but they will not let any third party disrupt their relationship. China's going to send shit, and they're probably going to send radars and try to send some dual-use shit like they're doing with Russia's war in Ukraine and saying they're not really supplying them with anything. I've been telling y'all the operations of Venezuela and the Caribbean and other areas, even in Iran and all that, could be to curb Russia and China's influence. They've been trying to be the new global powers and trying to take over the spot that the United States have, and the United States is trying to push back by going after their allies, and now they're going to start going after ours. Brazil is now saying they do not want a U.S. ground invasion into Venezuela and hope that there will not be a ground incursion because this will affect them too. This will affect the whole region. Russia's also reporting today that they remain in contact with Venezuela over the Caribbean tension, so they're keeping up with everything right now, making sure their partner is all right. And then you got reports like this, like the UK has delivered more Storm Shadow cruise missiles for Ukraine to do strikes on Russia. And people are wondering why Russia is moving missiles to do strikes on NATO members now. The United States is also going to test the Minuteman III ICBM after Trump's directive on nuclear weapons, because he said we're going to go back to nuclear weapons testing, but this is not the nuclear weapons testing that he was talking about. He was talking about the underground nuclear testing that Russia and China are secretly doing. That's what he said, right? Russia and China are secretly testing nuclear weapons. Oh, okay, yeah, I was right. President Trump said on Sunday that Russia and China have been secretly carrying out underground nuclear tests and declared that the United States will resume its own testing to maintain a strategic priority. So this little thing that they were trying to twist in this story, don't fall for it, guys. Don't fall for it. So the missile test, yeah, we are going to fly the Minuteman III, but soon they're also going to do an underground nuclear test, probably somewhere in Nevada or somewhere isolated. And then he'll announce it, and then Russia and China will get mad and say that they haven't been doing nuclear tests and start doing their own. It's about to be very dangerous. Got more news coming next. Oh, and for the ones that made it this far, one last thing. I think y'all deserve this. They've already mapped out the range of some of these missiles that Russia's getting ready to deploy to Venezuela. So
Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Harakak Badash. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone, who rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord, teaching the same and doing the same. All right. So another World War III update. Okay. And the Lord is doing this. The Lord is strategically, gathering these nations for war. All right. And the Lord got Russia being a guard unto these weaker nations like Venezuela for when it comes to nuclear capability and having all these tactical missiles and stuff like that. Okay. So you see how Russia is basically like every small nation that Babylon the Great America has a problem with. You see how Russia and China is trying to help those, those nations to keep from being bullied, bullied and things like that. The same going on in over there in Africa. Okay, all right. So this is the Lord is getting these nations ready for battle. Okay, for the battle of Armageddon, World War III. All right. So this Revelation 17, and I'm gonna start at 15 on down. All right. It says, "And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the ten horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." Okay, that whore is talking about Babylon the Great America. Okay, and the 10 horns, are nations that's a part of the EU. Okay, that formed a coalition with Babylon the Great America and with the West. Okay, um, for economic reasons. Okay, but they're breaking their ties. We see it in the news. We see prophecy happening before our eyes. They're breaking their ties with America and they're about to go to war. Okay, so all of uh, the West's allies is abandoning Babylon the Great America, this whore. Okay, so it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." All right. So that's talking about using what? Missiles, nuclear missiles, ICBM missiles. Okay. And that's how World War III is going to be. Okay. So it says, for the Most High Yahweh have put in their hearts to fulfill his will. You see, I'm gonna read it again. All right, for Yahweh have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. All right, you see, so this is the will of the Lord playing out. All right, yes, these nations got along. Okay, they did business together. All right, they made money together. All right, it was a certain time of peace. You could say, world peace. Now you still had continuing small wars. You still had small wars going on nonstop. All right, that was always created by Esau. All right, so-called white man for for reasons that they're not gonna tell you about. All right, whether it was for minerals, earth minerals, or it was just to keep the upper hand on certain nations. All right, as far as like strategic um parts of the earth that gives them advantages. War advantages. If anything was to go wrong, and everything will go wrong. Okay, World War III is biblical prophecy. All right, so there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, it says "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth," America. Okay, let me get Isaiah. I think that's 9. It's Isaiah 9:5. Isaiah 9:5. "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." You see? So World War III is different from other wars, from past wars. This war is going to be you got drones, all right. You got tactical missiles, you got all type of missiles and rockets and nuclear missiles, okay? You got EMP missiles, okay? So this is what this war is going to be. World War III, this is what it's going to be like, the Battle of Armageddon, okay? You know, and this war, this world war is not going to be, it's not going to last long like the previous wars. This war is going to be quick. It's going to be over with quick. Once those nuclear missiles start flying, it's going to be over with quick. Okay. All right. So this Isaiah 13:4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh of hosts, muster of the host of the battle. Okay? So the Lord is working on the minds, all right, of these modern day kings, presidents to go to war. Okay? Quick precept on that. To go to war. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. You see? And you got people, you know, and that shows you that this is spiritual because, you know, you got thousands upon thousands of people that's protesting, that's talking on these podcasts, that's raising awareness, that's getting on these news stations, and they're trying to prevent, okay, they're trying to prevent war. They're trying to prevent World War III from happening. All right? They're trying their hardest to prevent the Battle of Armageddon. And they're trying to talk sense into these presidents. All right? But it's not working. Why? Because it's all spiritual. This is the will of the Lord. That's why it's not working. Okay? To the to the common folk, they look at it as insane. Why would you want to go to war when you know nuclear missiles is going to be used? All right, and it's going to be no winners. Okay, but the Lord is putting it in their minds to go to war and to block out, to not listen to wise counsel. Okay, but these modern day kings, they're gonna listen to their false prophets. You know, the Lord have surrounded them with evil spirits, lying spirits, to get them to go to war and destroy each other. All right, and the ones that's actually talking sense, they're not gonna listen to them. All right. So it says, verse 5. They come from a far country, from the end of the heaven, even the Lord Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. You see? So it's talking about those nuclear missiles, those ICBM missiles. Okay? Also known as the army of the Lord in the book of Joel. All right? Okay? So it says, how ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. and they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them, and they shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another, their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Okay? So yes, the Lord is going, this is how the Lord is going to judge the Edomites as a whole, these heathens and 2/3 of his people. Okay? Using those nuclear missiles. Okay? So Lord willing, that was edifying. I want to end it and give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Harakakwadash. Double honors to the old apostles, great millstone, rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord doing the same and teaching the same.